In today's video, we are going to talk about being a projector and wanting to create content consistently. And I just want to start by saying I have not actually figured this out myself, and maybe I shouldn't start the video by saying that, because maybe you clicked on this because you thought that I was going to give you answers, and maybe eventually I will, but this video is more about my experience and my kind of actual experiment around creating content as a projector and then honoring the different aspects of my design and really just going through that experience in real time and like sharing about it as much as I can, because one of the things about being a projector is it's kind of hard to have consistent energy, right? Like that's one of the hallmark things, is that like our energy is inconsistent, right? And the reason why I mentioned the part about not having all of the answers is because I'm a 1-3, and I feel like a lot of the times with 1-3s, we have a tendency to think that we need to know everything before we start sharing anything, right? And I've definitely had that as a theme in my life, specifically when it comes to like my knowledge around fitness and like exercise and just like being a personal trainer. Like that's been like a huge hiccup for me, and like I've really seen my 1-3-ness, my one line, like be expressed in that category. And so that's the thing too, like I don't know how this experiment is going to go, because on one hand, like what I really want to do is analyze like the components of creating content, like what goes in to having content be produced in a consistent way, right? Like what are the elements? And then how can I work with those elements to find a strategy that allows me to honor my design and my energy levels, and also still show up in like some semi like regular fashion, you know? And then also with that, I think it's really important to mention like creativity, you know, like being creative is such a individually based thing, right? Like basically creativity doesn't show up the same way in each person. We each have our own unique process, our own unique way of how we like expressing creativity, what specifically we are creative about, like the like modality of how that shows up. And everybody is creative. Like some people are just closer to accessing it than others. But even if you are doing something like really structured, that's still creative. You know, it's the way that you are expressing yourself is your creativity. And so actually with that, I want to mention something, because I don't know if you can tell, but I changed my scene. I was parked somewhere else. I'm in my car, obviously. And I started this video and I paused it. First, it like took me a while to like even start it, because I was looking around and it was just like a little bit busy, you know? And I just didn't feel like it was the moment to start. I was just kind of like waiting for the right opportunity. And then I did, and it was like this car came and parked right beside me. And I was like, are they like waiting for this spot? Like, am I in their like residential? I was in a residential area. I was like, am I in their like parking spot for their house? And then I stopped the video and I was like, okay, so I think it's time to move. Like I just got this inkling that I was like, this is not the spot. This is not the place. I got to go somewhere else. Like nothing's going on. Bunnies are running around over here. And also there was like all these like bumblebees that I saw, 2 bumblebees that flew around. And there's one right now that's just like chilling on my car, like protecting me, like, you know, like sealing this space with protection. And so I think that that's really important, because I don't know, for myself, I've just never, first of all, I never really saw myself as like a creative person, which was like totally a limiting belief. But then once I started to heal that part of myself, I was like, oh, I actually don't know how to creatively express myself, you know? And I have the 8-1 channel, which is like funny that I'm even talking about not feeling connected to creativity, because that's like gate 1 is like the most creative channel in the entire human design system, or gate. It's the most creative gate in the whole system. And so obviously, like, I guess, you know, there's a reason for that, but maybe sometimes it just like isn't ready to be expressed. Maybe that's something that just like evolves later, or at least for me it did. Okay, I'm just talking about my personal experience and what it looks like to work with creativity. And so something that I'm just discovering now is that the environment is really important. And I think that like projectors will really resonate with this, but especially if you are a mental projector, or if you have like a mental projected channel. And I have the 4323 channel, so that connects my ajna to my throat. And so when I am creating content, like specifically video content as well, I am realizing that I need to set the stage, like I need to set the environment, you know? And it's interesting because a lot of the times my ideas just like erupt out of me, you know, like they're just like unexpected. I'm like thinking about something random and a download comes in and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good piece of information that I want to talk about. And then through talking about it, I'm also going to receive more insights about it, because that 8-1 channel is a self-projected channel, right? It goes from the throat to the G center. So all of these little elements work together, right? And I think one last thing I want to say on the previous idea about moving from that last location to this location, like I don't want to like skip over this, because I actually feel like it's really important, and it's something that I've just really been working with lately. And I suppose it kind of comes from the spleen, actually. So being a splenic authority, you'll resonate with this, because when I was over in that other environment, like if I continued to try to make that video, I would not have been able to. I would have been stunted. I would have had to be constantly pausing and feeling like self-conscious, or like, you know, because the whole like spleen, right? You're always surveying your environment. So when there's like a lot going on in your environment, if you're trying to like create a video, then you're going to be distracted. Your spidey senses are going to be activated, and it's just not going to be a soothing experience. And like maybe this is coming, like I have gate 52 as well in my chart, that it's like all about like stillness. And so maybe that's also something that is important that I need, that it's like if there's too much activity happening around me, I think that that would impede my ability to make the video. And that's why making it in my car is really nice, because there's just no distractions, right? Like I can just like really dial in and just share the information that's coming to me. And so now in this space, like I haven't seen a single person, not a single car has driven down this pathway. Like it is chill. Like the space, like it feels different. That having that quietness and like communing with nature as well. Like as another example, I think that it would probably be beneficial for projectors to create content outside, you know, because we are deeply, deeply connected and in tune with nature as projectors. It's just how we operate. It's just one of the things about us, you know? And if you're wanting to make content and you're wanting to have like focused attention, then what better place to do that than a quiet space outside, you know? Because then nature will commune with you. The bee is still on my car, okay? And like I'm going to take that as an indicator that I'm in the right place right now. Also though, like total side subject, I am like bug girl, okay? I didn't like bugs when I was growing up, but something has happened in my life, and I have like a way of communicating with bugs. And bugs communicate with me. It's actually like I'll make a total separate video on this because this is like not on subject, and I'm really doing my best to stay on subject because it's like I can get a little bit outside of the topic that I wanted to talk about. But I still do think that there's a bit of value in that, like taking a little side quest. But then, coming back to the subject, which I do every single time. So if you're on this journey with me and you're here to enjoy the ride of the experiment of just like the flow of consciousness that comes out from being a quad right, because that's what it is. Like if I were to try and have talking points, and like this is another piece of content creation, that if I were just trying to like write down all the different things that I wanted to talk about, I would feel like creatively stunted. I probably wouldn't even make the video, if I'm being quite honest, because I would try and do it too specifically, and I want it to just flow naturally, because having that 8-1 channel, I really benefit from speaking out loud, which is probably why I feel called to make videos, like video content, and specifically speaking videos, because like I have this information in my mind, and then these insights that come through the 4323 channel, and then if they stay in my brain, they kind of just get all like swirled around. Like they don't really have the outlet that they need for me to find clarity. And it's not until I say the words out loud, and like I could say it if I'm just like talking to myself, but being able to like record myself, whether it's on video or even if it's just like an audio recording, and then being able to listen to that back or watch that back is so valuable. So even if like you're just trying to make a decision in your, life, and you have a self-projected channel, or you're a self-projector, I think that you would benefit from making some sort of video or like audio recording and then listening to it back. Like that's the part that's like just really, really, really important. But yeah, my videos are going to be a little bit chaotic. They're going to be a little bit disorganized, and that's okay, because I'm just going to roll with that, because sometimes like you have to like do the experiment, right? Like outrightly go through the steps of being like, should I make notes, and should I write down the things I want to say, or should I just like go like off the cuff based on like the key points that I had, like the key topics, and just basically pause the video and like speak from those areas. Like I just intuitively know that like writing it down would not work for me. It would just like zap the creativity out of me. But also going back to the previous point of connecting with bugs, is that yeah, the universe like communicates to me through bugs, and it's been a really, really interesting experience, which I will share in a different video so that we can stay on the subject of content creation. So now let's look at all the components of what goes into creating content, okay? So you need a device, right? Phones are good, so check. Also, like that's important, that like if I had a camera, I don't think it would be the same. Like I've also tried working with a proper camera, and it just works out better to do it on my phone, because then I'm able to upload it right away. Because and I have been experimenting with this, right? So I'll tell you what I do know about creating content, and what has worked, and also what has not worked, right? Very third line coded. So something that really, really works is when I'm recording a video on my phone, I don't actually stop it in between each like pause, because sometimes, because I'm just going from like my stream of consciousness, right? I am gonna take a second to like collect my thoughts, right? And so there's gonna be like these pauses in between this video that I would have to edit out, right? If I didn't pause the video, or if I like stopped the video each time, I would have to like splice all these different things together. So this is something that I actually figured out like a long time ago. That's super beneficial, because if I just pause the video, then it gives me a second to collect my thoughts, to remember, oh yeah, this is the subject that I'm talking about. These are like the key points that came to me that I want to address, that I want to share. And then also, like sometimes you just lose your train of thought. Like sometimes you're just in the middle of a sentence and you're like, what was I saying? And so by being able to pause it, it allows me to like take a breath without having to edit the video, because that's another thing that I've discovered does not work, right? If I stop the video and I have to like take two different files or whatever and edit them together and put them into another like CapCut or whatever before I upload it, that is just going to create such an obstacle for me. And a lot of the time I just won't do it. And I don't know why, but it's like if I have like one complete, like the very first video I put on this channel, that was just like totally inspired, that just like flowed out of me. I did exactly that. I sat down, I hit record, I paused it when I needed to gather my thoughts, I stopped the video, and I uploaded it on YouTube. And like, that's a very like Splenic authority thing to do, right? Because there's this like, this energetic charge that happens when you have like that impulse to act, right? And if you don't take advantage of that, it's not going to happen. And like for me, like you'd think in theory you could just go back to it another time, but it's like weird. I lose the oomph. Like I lose the creative desire to do anything with it, which is another thing that I'm working with, because people are always like sharing different experiences, right? Like real-time experiments of whatever. And it's like a follow along with me as I blank. And I have tried to do that so many times where I'm like setting a challenge for myself, or I'm like whatever, doing something where I'm wanting to have it in real time, like with this video, right? So we're actually not sure what's going to happen here, okay? Because two things that I've learned. Number one, when I try and do it genuinely in real time, and I set, like in the past, I've like tried to set like I'm going to do it for a week, or I'm going to do it like over a month. Setting a timeline is not it. Like I have an undefined will center. I'm a quad right. If I'm going to put pressure on like when I'm going to do something, I'm not going to do it. Okay. So doing it in real time, it's like so inconsistent, right? So I think what I have to do is like, I know I cannot set a timeline. I can't be like, this I'm going to do in this amount of time. Never going to happen. So like when I introduce the video, I'm going to be like, okay, this is going to be a real time experiment about creating content as a projector and how I honor the different aspects of my design specifically. And then just like sharing different things that I've learned from that, right? But here's the other thing. And I've also tried this, that I'm like, okay, maybe I don't post it in real time. Maybe I just like record a bunch of videos and do little updates along the way. So it's not like I'm like posting a video every single day, or like having pressure to create a video every single day, right? Because that wouldn't work. But if I record all the videos, then I'll be able to just like, when I get to more of a place where I have like results, or like more of an understanding of like the journey and like what I've learned from it, then I'll post the videos. And that doesn't work either. So because I did that with like this health thing that I was doing, I had like, I don't know, something was like messed up with my gut, and like I've had gut issues like my whole life, but I don't know what was going on. I figured it out now, actually, funny enough. Oh, the bee left. Okay, I'm going to take that as a signal that I'm going to be wrapping up this video, okay? Because bugs communicate with me. But, so funny. But going back to the thing about my gut is like, I was doing all these different protocols, right? Like an anti-inflammatory diet, not eating anything that I'm intolerant to, like different things that I tried. And so I recorded videos on TikTok and saved them to my draft. And I did like 20 videos. Like I was like on a roll, you know? I was like really immersed in this experience. And what happened was I got to a place where I just kind of like stopped. I don't know, things in my life changed. I fell off track a little bit, stopped making the videos, and never posted anything. Because there's this thing, and I think that this is like a splenic authority thing, that it's like everything is in the now, okay? It's in this moment right now. And so if I've made a video in the past, and I still actually don't want to post those videos, even though there was like great insights that came out of it, but it's not current. Like it's not what's happening right now in this moment right now. And so for me, it's like there's no energy behind it now. Like I'm just like, dang, I should have just posted all those videos, even though it was like not in order and not super organized and like probably wouldn't have made a lot of sense. But throughout it, there are pieces of information that are valuable, okay? Hear what I'm saying? Even though these are a little bit chaotic, there are pieces of information that are valuable. You know, you just have to be like willing and patient to allow it to unfold, right? Like listen to my video while you're like getting ready for the day or like getting ready for bed at night. You know, that'll be a good time. Like while you're doing something else, listen to my video. So the key takeaways of this video that we learned is environment matters. So I know that when I'm making a video, I need a quiet space. I want to be alone. I want to have, I want to be outside. Actually, being in my car is a really good place. I've already known that. And also being outside. Like, you know, I have my windows cracked a little bit. It's chill. The vibes are good here. This is a good spot. So that's the first takeaway. Yeah, being in nature in general, like that's probably something else that I'm going to experiment with, is just like being outside in different settings while I'm making videos. And then, oh yeah, one last thing that I do want to say before we continue with the takeaways is that I had this idea to make this video yesterday. And actually, funny enough, I had the idea to make a totally different video. And it was about like how we find our purpose as projectors, which is something I really want to talk about on this channel and feel really deeply called to. And I have a lot of insight around as well. So I want to share on that and like what that looks like and just like how we do it, you know? But when I had the idea to have that video, make that video, I couldn't make the video because I was on a timeline. I had things that I had to do that day. There was not a second for me to stop and make the video in the moment. And I went, dang, how do I like keep this energy and like pause this energy so that I can come back to it when I'm able to make the video and then still have that same like creative like drive, like creative impulse, you know? And so that's something that I'm working on, and that's definitely like splenic authority coded, you know? And so then because I was thinking about that, it gave me the idea to make this video about like, how the heck do we create content as projectors? Like, how do we genuinely make consistent content? Hang on a second right now. Very, very funny. A car just drove down this street and it's the first car I've seen, okay? So something in the universe, my spidey senses are telling me I gotta go, and I do have to go. I actually have to be somewhere. So I have to wrap this video up. First indicator, the bug left, the beautiful bumblebee left. Second indicator, a car drove down the street, okay? These are important, right? But, so going back to that other subject, one of the things that I did was I like spoke out loud with the different like subjects, topics that I wanted to talk about on like how to make content as a projector and how to show up consistently. Ironically, I haven't talked about any of those things in this video, because something else that I had an inkling about is that like it's kind of like a match when you have splenic authority, and that whole thing about like it only happens once, like we'll talk about that more, because I feel like on one hand yes, but then on the other hand no, because you can recreate the circumstances to mimic that environment so that you can have that same like impulse come back around. But then also like I lit the match, I pulled the match out, and so I'm like having a hard time relighting it right now, which is something I've also learned in the past, is that like I can't actually move forward and say the thing that I want to say in the video. Like I actually have to keep it inside of me, and I have to just go, it's like this subject and that subject and that subject, and leave it as like whole concepts without actually adding any detail, because the detail is going to come out in the video, and it's going to come out once. Like I won't be able to repeat it. I won't be able to like, I can't do like third, fourth, fifth takes. Like everything is take one. That's it. Take one or take nothing. And flowed out of me, and now it's like not there for me to access right now, if that makes sense. And that might actually be a quad right thing. I don't know. We're figuring it out. Okay, we're figuring it out in real time. Things will become more clear as we go. But just like hang in there with me. Okay, you're gonna benefit, I'm gonna benefit, we are all gonna benefit as projectors, as the collective. Okay, but yeah, I have to not actually say the things. I just have to like, I'm gonna write down a few notes, quick little like trigger notes to help trigger my memory. And then when I'm ready to make the video, right, I'm not gonna set a time. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna make that video, because what happened today is I just like completely left it open. I was gonna be like, whenever the inspiration like comes back around is when I'm going to make the video. And I happened to just be like sitting in my nail appointment and listening to like, I'm a Cancer sun, and so I love listening to Cancer tarot readings on YouTube. It's just like the best, and especially while I'm getting my nails done, I just love it. And so I'm listening to something and it like inspires me, it triggers something, and I go, oh, things are flowing again, and now I'm in the threshold. It's like you're just going through your life, minding your own business, and then you trip a wire, you trip a like creativity wire, okay? And then you have a threshold. It's like the clock has started, and whatever that content piece that's wanting to be expressed out of you has to be done in that threshold, okay? And a way to approach it is like, maybe you like have to just like quickly like sit down, and you have the time, and you get your phone out and you just start recording, you hit record and you start talking and you start sharing, right? Alternatively, if you can't do that in the moment, and I'm also talking to myself, but I'm also talking to you, okay? Because we're in this together, right? Because projectors have a lot that we're here to share. And so we just have to find out how to share it. What do we need? What specific scenarios do we have to put in place? Specific conditions in order to make it work for us? Because the content machine, the hustle and grind and pump out content protocol is not for us, okay? It is not a projector thing to do, right? So let's not do that. Let's just do what works for us, and let's find what works for us first, right? Yeah, so alternatively, if you can't make the video right in the moment, make a note, write down your key points, and then leave it open. Because when the next moment comes around that you find that same inspiration, or it's like tripping that same wire of creativity, then you go, okay, and you have to assess again. Maybe it's not time yet either, but maybe it is, right? Maybe you can figure it out in that moment and make the video. because we're still figuring this out. I don't know how many times. Probably you can continue have it coming around as long as it's still relevant. That's the important part, right? Because then the difference is that if something changes and it's no longer relevant, then maybe you've missed it. Maybe you won't be able to like make that video, or maybe it's like something that you have to like wait much longer for it to be relevant again, right? Like even like with those videos of my gut issue, like maybe if I were in a similar scenario and I was having that same experience of having like a really imbalanced gut, like gut health, then maybe I would be able to post those videos. I don't know. Things have been pretty good though, because I figured out what was going on. But maybe I'll share about that like in a different video and do like a recap thing. I don't know. We're going to figure it out, guys. We are going to figure it out, okay? Because I know that it's possible. I know that it's possible for projectors to show up consistently online. I know it. And we just have to discover how to do it, right? So that's what we're going to do here. And I'm going to post this video right now, because if I don't, then I won't, right? Because it's relevant right now, right? So that's the thing that we got to do. Another takeaway: post the video in the moment. Don't edit. Don't wait. Don't do anything, okay? Post the video now. Which goes against everything of like having to post within certain times, because I'd literally never be able to do that. I would genuinely never be able to do that, okay? But you know what? Maybe there's a way to work around that. I actually have an idea for that. But that's a topic for another video, okay? I'm going to end this here. So I am so happy to be sharing this right now, because I just like, it just really lights me up to be able to talk about human design, to talk about being a projector, to share my experience as a projector, and to just be like going through this process with you, because I just think we're like so unique and so lovely and so wonderful as projectors, and we just get each other in a way that people don't get us, you know? So I've wanted to create a projector community for like so long now. It's been on my heart for like such a long time. And you know, it's just whenever the time is right for it to emerge is when it's going to emerge. That's what I'm also learning, that like we got to stop putting pressure on ourselves. We got to just let life unfold in the way that it wants to unfold, right? Okay, I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is.